Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Cyrus coming back to you in a video through the spirit and power and glory of the Most High Yahweh, Bashim, Hashem, woman like Yahushai. This video I'm coming with, Lord willing, I'm able to continuously do these videos. Something I want to Lord put in my spirit to continually do regarding what I'm going to go through in this video, which are basically the laws of the Lord, right? These things are very important. These things are not a light thing, you know. Yes, some may be easy to do, some may be harder to do. But what we're going to do is go through the precepts, and for, literally for a refresher for people, or for if you're new to the channel, or you're new into the truth, and you want to start following the Lord, start following the things that you're supposed to do according to the Most High Yahweh, Bashim, Hashem, woman like Yahushai. And this video is going to be for you. It's going to make it, Lord willing, make your walk easier, and your learning easier as well. Because let me get this classic precept. Classic precept. Something we always bring out. All right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. In verse 13, it says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." That's the whole duty of man, woman, child that's on the earth. We have to keep the commandments of the Lord, and which, ultimately you get the fear of the Most High as well. So that's what we're going to be going into, and why these things are very important. Because you might say, well, I follow the Lord. I follow the commandments. I do these things. I'm a good person. The Lord should uphold me in my walk, right? He should. I'm a good, righteous person, right? We're gonna see if you are good as you say you are according to the law. Because either if you say you good, you got to be keeping the laws, right? Let me look at this precept. Why I say that? This is why. And these are just started precepts into the topic at hand. This is Psalms 19 and verse 7. It says, "The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul." So the law of the Lord is what is so perfect. Nobody is perfect nobody's perfect at all. But the law is the Lord is, and the law is, right? It says converting the soul, and the law is what's convert your soul, what changes you from a wicked person in the world and into a righteous person, into the ways of the Lord, right? It says, "The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes." So it's right. It's the only right way to move. To move. It's the only only right way in life to live. Right? That's a tongue twister. So it also it says of the Lord is pure. It's pure. It's not tainted. It's not, hey, no, I don't think I should do this. No, I don't think I should. It should be progressive. You should be progressive with this. No. It says enlightening the eyes. It's going to open your eyes into what? The ways of the Lord, right? Not the ways of the world, right? It's going to be the ways of the world. Of the Lord, right? Let me get this precept. Get around. Chapter 32. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 in verse 46. It says, "And he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words." So that's what we got to do. We got to set our hearts unto all the words of the Lord, right? "Which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do all the words of this law." So we should also be teaching our children and keeping the ways of this law as well. This is something that we should, as a culture, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, we should be teaching our children. Or these are the things we should have been learning in our so-called culture, right? Because the laws of the Lord is the Hebrew Israelite culture. right? These are customs. These are the things that we uphold as a people, as a nation, right? It shows us how to deal with each other. It shows us how we maneuver with each other, how we um, um, do business with each other. And literally, it's a constitution for us, right? It's a law by a citizen for an Israelite. It's laws, right? That's what it's literally for, you know. So it is very beneficial for us to start keeping the law, because we are a lawless nation, like we always going to. A lawless nation that make up things as they go, make up slogans as we go, or whatever sounds good. Hey, whatever, you know, the big homie on the block say, that's law. No, the laws of the Lord is law. It's the way you should guide and maneuver through this life, this world, right? So that's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna break this down because it's not a light thing, right? Let me get James. All right, let me get James. James 1, verse 22. It says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." So we got to be doers of the word, not just being here. You just hearing things and go one eye ear after the other, like they say, right? But we gotta actually put our hands to the plow and start doing these things. Because you can hear something all day long, but if you're not doing this, applying this to yourself, you're not gonna see changes, right? People wonder why they don't see change in their life, right? Because you're not doing anything, right? But they say faith without works is dead. You gotta do something. You can have faith, but you can also gotta put your hands to the plow and do some work, right? That's why the Lord said, "Hey, you're gonna be deceiving your own selves." You could be hearing these things all the day long, but if you're not applying it, you're not gonna see no change in your life. You're not gonna see that converting soul, like Psalms 19 said, right? So these are the things we gotta uphold as a nation, as individuals, and as a nation, right? So we gotta be a doers of the word, not hearers only, right? Look at Psalms 119. Psalms 119 and and 97. It says, "Oh, how love I thy law. It is my meditation all the day." So it's literally my meditation all day, right? You should love the law, right? You should love the things that the Most High placed for us as a heritage, right? These are the things that's going to keep us in a right path as a people, man. And we wonder why we live reckless in this world. There's no love in this community, as we know as the so-called black or the so-called black, Hispanics, and Native American community. It's rarely love, right? We get together for certain things, right? But it's really no love in our community, right? You got the blacks on blacks, you got the browns on brown, you got a native versus a native. Then you got a black on brown, brown on black, black on native, native on black, brown on native. It's all these different, variations when we all a collective group, right? We all a collective nation, right? And these things, which is the law, is going to show us how to conduct ourselves and uphold our nation as a people together, which we all want, man. We see what's going on, man, in the world, man. We see what's going on in society, how people speak about us, man, right? How these so-called white men in position and power don't do nothing for us, man, but want us to do everything for them to be in power, right? But if we collectively come together, they can't do nothing. If we collectively come together, we could do the most, right? Like I always like to say, what's that movie? Planet of the Apes, right? Hey, Caesar, hey, he was like, hey, us together. Hey, when we single, it's easy break. But if we strong, you strong together. A lot of people say that, but hey, I'm going to Planet of the Apes because that was literally what was going on. All these different apes, they coming together. Not all the apes was the same. You had the gorillas, you got the orangutans, you got the silverbacks, you got all these different things. Just like how you got the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Americans, all different, but we are the same. You know, same nation, right? So, so like I said, Lord willing, I could continue to do these things, go into the law and show, you know, new believers, new truth seekers, a certain things according to the law that's not in the 10 Commandments, right? Because there's laws outside the 10 that Most High said do, right? So we got to do these things. It's not just the 10, the big 10, as we say. There's more, you know. So we gonna get into this commandment. Like I said, I want to do continually do these type of videos to help and build our nation, to refresh our nation, to get in these certain different things regarding the law, right? So this is Leviticus 12. So the Leviticus 12 is going into the purification of the woman, right? Meaning, you know, how she should purify herself after certain things that, you know, that may occur with her, you know. So, you know, like I said, a person may say, oh, I don't do this, I never went to jail, I pay my taxes, I do this, I stop at the red light, stop signs, I do all these things, I never stole, never shot, blah, 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 blah. You know, and that will, you know, some people dictate their life off that and say, I'm a good person, or I'm in good standing, so-called good standing with the Most High Yahweh, you know. But we here to say that you may be doing things, or I'm here to say, according to the law, you might be doing things that goes against the Most High, right? That's why it's important that we go into these different things. As important that we read as well. You know, that's Revelations 1 and 3, right? So we have to be able to read these things and uphold these things, and do these things, right? So, like I said, let's get into this thing. This is Leviticus, Lord willing. You know, I'm gonna get through the whole chapter through the Spirit. I'm gonna go and dissect and explain certain things, right? This is start. This is Leviticus chapter 12, and it's lucky if you hear me sniffing. You know, I just got over a cold through the Spirit, right? So, Lord willing, I get through this video with minimal sneezes through the Spirit, right? But this is Leviticus chapter 12, right? It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed and born a man child, then shall she be unclean 7 days. So a man child, according to the Bible, is going to be as a boy. That's a boy. So this is going to what you should do if you gave birth to a boy as a woman, right? This is for men as well. Men should know this, you know. But, you know, this is a law according, you know, going for women and what they should do, right? But a man should be the one upholding and pushing this into his home, right? So, according to the Bible, if you have a boy and he's been born, a woman will be unclean for 7 days, right? Now, you know, unclean is just meaning that you're not in your I ain't gonna say, I want to say natural. I'm gonna say your natural state. You know, you kind of have imperfections. You know, women know this. You know, when they are giving birth, your body gotta build back up to that, to their original form, or the form that they're going to be continue on after giving birth, right? So. And this is going to, you know, even like you said, even after birth, you know, women could bleed. They be bleeding. They be, you know, they be having to wear the Pampers and things of that nature, or gauze or whatever, right? So She should be unclean. She gonna be unclean 7 days, right? So 7 days, according to the days of separation, for her infirmity, shall she be unclean. So, and she'll be unclean until her separation, right? Nowadays, you could, the woman can stay in the room, man, you can sleep on the couch, you can sleep on the floor. These certain things, you want to separate yourself from your woman and let her be unclean for them 7 days, right? Right. It says on the third. This is Genesis 12:3. It says, in the eighth day of the and in the eighth day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. Now, on the eighth day, when your son is born, so you say he's born on April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. On the eighth day, he has to be circumcised. Why? Right? That's going back to what? Genesis. Right? This is Genesis chapter 17 in verse 9. It says, and God said unto Abraham, thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations. He that is born in a house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. So literally, the Lord is telling Abraham he have to circumcise your child that is born among you, and any other child that's born among you as well, right? Because back in that ancient world, Abraham had servants, he had maids, he had all type of services like this, in lack of a better term, and those people dwelt among them. So those people had to get their children circumcised as well, which was a covenant that the Most High made between Abraham. This is a covenant that he made between Abraham, that any child that's born 8 days, 8-day-year-old babies, man child or boys, have to be circumcised on the 8th day. That's why that commandment is there, right? That's why that commandment is stated in Leviticus chapter 12, right? So in Genesis 17, that covenant that he made with Abraham is still a covenant that he's keeping with Leviticus 12, with guarding a man child having to be circumcised on the 8th day. All right, so if you have a baby boy, you have to be separated 7 days, right? Continue on. And on that 8th day, he have to be circumcised, right? That's the law. It's right. Let's keep going. It says, verse 4, and she shall then, so now it says, and she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days, and shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. Right? So that's literally saying, okay, the 7 days, right? Now she got to be 7 plus 330 days. That's 40 days. The woman should be unclean, right? From unclean and put and separated, and can't come touch no hollow thing, can't come into the sanctuary or any of that stuff until she be purified and fulfilled, right? Meaning that she had to be separated from that days. So it says 7 plus 3 and 30 days. It's 33 days. That's 40 days that a woman is unclean, right, for a man child. So as Israelites, we have to keep that law. That's our law, right? So we're going to continue on. Right? It says, it's like you go get some tissue real quick. It's like you. It's like you. It's like you. This is Leviticus chapter 12 and 5. And continue on. So I'm gonna just continue on. So we know, man, child, boy, separate 7 days. You be unclean, purifying. 8th day, he had to be circumcised according to the Abraham covenant. He made between the Most High made with Abraham, between him and Abraham. Did he continue on? A woman continue on being unclean for 3 and 30 days. That's 300, not 300. It's 32 days plus 7. That's 40 days that a woman will be unclean. All right. So that's with a boy child. Now, verse 5, it says, but if she bear a maid child, which is a girl, according to the precepts, a maid child is a girl, right? Then she should be unclean 2 weeks. So now, not the 7th day, that's 2 weeks is 14 days. So, right, 14 days as is her separation, right? And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days, right? What's 3 scores? Right, let me put it up. 3 score. Right. Trying to make sure y'all know. So 3 scores is 60, right? 60. I don't know if y'all can see that, but 60. 3 scores is 60. Is it because it's 20, 20, I believe 20, 20, 20, if I'm not mistaken, right? Which is 60, right? Let's see, like, the score, right? But if I'm mistaken, it's 20. Score. Yeah, 20. Yeah, the score is approximately 20 or 20, right? So 20, so that's 3 scores, that's 60 in 6 days. So 60 days. So like 66 days plus 14 is 80 days, right? Could have did the math. I know the math, but just want you to see it, right? 66 plus 14 days is 80 days. So a woman have to be unclean, what? 66 plus 14 days is 80 days, right? So it's what? I ain't gonna say double, not double, wait, is it double? It is double, if I'm saying it is double from what the man child, because the man child is 40 days, all right? So it's literally double. So it says, read it again, it says, but if she bear a maid child, then shall she be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood for purifying 66 days. Right, verse 6, it says, when the days of her purifying are filled, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation unto the priest, who shall offer it before the Lord and make an atonement for her and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath borne a male or a female. And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then shall she bring 2 turtle doves, 2 young pigeons, the one of the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. Right? But I want to read this part. This is Leviticus 12:7. This is the law. Right? So this is a law we have to keep as Hebrew Israelites. Right? So a man should be pushing this in his household. A woman should be understanding this thing in her household and know this thing as well. If you don't have a man, you should understand this, implying this, and pushing yourself, right? And as a man, if you don't have a woman or a wife at this moment, this is thing you should know and as well. So this is, like I said, Lord willing, I'm able to continually do this thing. Different laws, different things that's in the law that you may or may not know. So this is a law that we have to keep, the law of purification. If you are having a baby, right, a man child, should be unclean for 7 days, and continually in 30 and 3 days, which is 40 days, and completion. And then a woman, she have a baby, a girl child, a maid child, should be unclean 14 days, which is 2 weeks, and then be unclean for the rest 66, if I'm not mistaken, which is 80 days in total, right? So 80 days for a woman, for a baby girl, and 40 days for a baby boy. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. Lord willing, we start keeping these laws and continually to push this narrative of the Hebrew Israelite customs into our life, into this nation, until the Most High come back, right? And with that, I want to give our power and glory to the Most High Yahweh, Hashem, Mashiach, Wamalak, Yahweh Shai, Kwame Yashala.